Welcome to another episode of the Dairy Experience podcast, and today we're joined by James Green from GreenCon Constructions. James, how are you today?
Daniel, I'm very well, thank you, and thanks for the invite to sit here with you and just talk about dairy.
No, always a pleasure, and it'd be good to get some of the insights from someone who's been doing this for a lot longer than most, I think, in this industry. Might just kick off, if we can, just give us a bit of a background on GreenCon and the history of it, where did it start, and where are you today?
Yeah, good question, which I get asked quite a lot, so I should be able to answer this quite well. From history, my parents tell me my grandfather started building dairies back in 1948 for the Soldier Settled Commission in the Umurka area, and I think it was over 400 dairies in that whole total area that he did dairies there, and that expanded through to all the other soldier settlement areas around Victoria. Through time, my father took over the business basically and continued to build dairies. Then his son and myself has done the same thing, and so we've been building dairies since 1948. Our actual company's been going for 60 years, 61 years this year, and I'm third generation dairy builder. So we've got a proud history there, and we've been all over Victoria, a bit in New South Wales, a fair bit in South Australia, and a little bit over in West Australia. So we're basically national, and but we've done a fair bit in the dairy industry for the last 70 odd years. Yeah, absolutely fantastic, and a great achievement by my family over the years.
Yeah, definitely, and still a proud Victorian.
I'm still a proud Victorian, and I still barrack for Geelong too, if I could put that in
there. Just give us a quick overview of your company statistics, I suppose. How many employees you got? How many projects you sort of do each year?
Good question. To answer that reasonably quickly would be we have roughly around about 40 employees. We're on at least 9 to 15 projects every day. From an office point of view, we've got four engineers, one accountant, one architect, HR people and that sort of thing that help us out. And then we've got the rest of our workforce, which are great people who are carpenters, welders, extremely experienced concreters, and project managers, etc. So we've got a great team that really do a great job, not only in the dairy industry, but also in the industrial and commercial areas as well.
So complete in-house, all in-house. Yeah, fantastic. Yep. What we sort of want to discuss today, I suppose delve a bit deeper into today, is a bit of the being able to give farmers out there a bit more information into things that they, I suppose, should prepare for if they're considering moving into a barn option or building a new shed or a loafing pad or whatever it might be. Just some of the things, I suppose, what should they have ready if they come and speak to someone like you? What are you going to ask them? What considerations are they taking into aspect and things that they can expect?
We haven't got 3 hours, so in a nutshell, I would be the first things if I was looking to expand. First thing I would do is I'd go to Dairy Australia website and look at that website as into the type of facilities that may be best for you. Dairy Australia also have a program where you can actually type in that I would love to have a 500 cow barn with a robotic system on it, and it'll punch your numbers out and tell you what you've actually got to do to be able to meet that sort of guideline, to be able to be sustainable and be able to be be profitable doing that as well. So I'd look at those things that Dairy Australia offer. Certainly you can talk to local people who build dairies or can help you plan dairies and all that sort of stuff. The other thing I would be most likely doing is, number one, work out where you are now, where you want to be in 5 years' time, where you want to be in 10 years' time, and what is it going to look like in 20. What is your goals? Set that out. From that, then you can go forward, start looking at other people's projects who are around about that similar size at 5, 10 and 20 and see how it looks. Are you happy with it? You think it's achievable? Whatever it may be. same time, talk to Dairy Australia, talk to the experts, talk to the people who know what you want to
Yep.
want to build, and
Yep.
go from there.
And does it differ quite a lot between the regions? Like, is it? I mean, in your experience, as you said, you're almost national, I suppose. Every region has its own, I suppose, idiosyncrasies.
Look, they certainly do because of climate. Climate's probably the biggest thing you could look at. Even in America and Europe, you look at those places, they have similar, not similar climates, but they have similar differences with where they have 40-degree to full freeze and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
We don't have those sort of conditions here where we have milking systems. But you still got to think about, the temperature and the climate and all that sort of stuff in what you're doing.
Yep. So when you are looking at that, I suppose, final design of a barn, and you look at those environmental conditions, what are some of the factors that would come into play? If I had to stab in the dark, I'm thinking things like location, central feed pad or external feed pad, ventilation.
So before we go into the nitty gritty, think about the wider issues. Number one is the local council. What are their rules, regulations, stipulations, requirements? From that, there might be some EPA requirements. There might be some other land issues that you may have to deal with. There might be some heritage issues. Get all those in place first. Understand what those constraints may be.
Yep.
And then that'll give you a parcel of land that you are able to put your facility.
Yep.
Is that feasible? Yes, no, and make decisions going on from there and work through those.
Yep. And you say the parcel of land, when you look at that parcel of land and a farmer is thinking to themselves, that's the perfect location for my barn, you come out and you say, maybe not. What?
Well, it may be the perfect location because of all the council constraints. It may be perfect location because it's the centre of the farm or centre of the milking area of the farm. But there may be a massive hill there right in the way, and it's going to cost you $200,000 to remove. That 200 grand or whatever that figure may be not economically viable to do that, to make the facility work properly. So you got to look at all the situations, all the issues you may have, costs. You may have rivers running beside you, and you may not be able to build right beside it. You might have to be 200 metres away. All those there's so many things you've got to look at. And the farmer doesn't have to do that himself. He can employ people to do that for him because it's a jungle.
Yeah.
It can be a jungle out there, and if you don't get it right, you could be in
and that's something you would normally assist a farmer with through GreenCon?
We certainly do. Yep. And look, you've got to think about the systems you're using and all that sort of thing too. So in Victoria, and it will be in Australia, and look, I'm not perfect on this, but depending on the type of system you have, whether intensive farming or extensive farming. Intensive is when basically you've got a roof over the shed and you're feeding the cows through mechanical means, compared to just normal farming where you let them go out to pasture and they're eating pasture and coming back to a place where they're being milked and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of difference between that and what you can and can't do as well. And sometimes EPA might come into that.
Yep.
So there's a lot of issues you've got to think about.
Yep. And when we look at those, we were chatting earlier about, I suppose, various systems and options that are available. There's you can go to so many different farms and see different effluent setups. We can see different power supplies. People are on solar, people are on batteries. Is that something that you work with people on in that design process as well?
Certainly, we provide a full system. So there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people in the dairy industry who can go and build your dairy. Someone can go and project manage it. Someone can design it, right? But they can't do 2 or 3 of those items. They can only do one of them.
Yep.
Our business can do the whole lot, and we're pretty proud of that.
Yep.
Because it's all in-house and we can make sure everything gets right. It's very difficult when you've got a planner and you've got a builder who don't get along together, and then you've got other things that just don't work in properly. And integrated into that is also planning effluent systems, planning your water systems, planning your traction, your laneways, and everything else that may be required on that sort of farm or that facility you're going to be building. So,
Yep. Yeah, fantastic. We had a brief chat before we came on and started the recording here. We were talking about beddings. You've obviously worked with various types of beddings, and I'm not going to ask you which is the best because I know every individual have their preference. But what are some of the bedding options you have worked with, and what are some of the considerations when we talk square meters per cow and styles of setup in those?
Yeah, I'll start off by saying we started building freestall barns 25 years ago, and I was a big fan of freestall barns with sand bedding. I'm still not, and look, there's a lot of people out there who argue against what I'm saying, but I'm still not convinced that mattresses are the best. However, if it's a cost thing and it's something you want, you go and do it, right?
Yep.
So we got free stalls that have sand or mattresses, but they also can have other bedding materials,
Yep.
particularly manure or dry manure bases as well. Look, those systems certainly work. Whether they're the best for the cow or not, that's argument we can sit here and have all day.
Sometimes.
Right? I say that look, they're great, but they're not as good as what you can be.
Yep.
I am now a real fan of compost systems where the cow is sitting at business class. She's not sitting in cattle class where she's got frames holding her in place. And in some cases, it's actually first class, right?
Yeah.
However, with our climates and all that sort of thing in Australia and overseas too, we've got to be able to manage that. If we're going to compost system, we've got to be able to manage that compost.
Yep.
So there's constraints and challenges there all the time, particularly with our climates we have around here. But so we look at that and we deal with it. I still think that's a better system if you've got time to manage it in the peaks. So the peak is when it's really hot and you get dusty conditions, and really cold and wet when you have wet conditions. So if you make sure you can manage those two areas quite well, the better it's going to be. I think in the next 20 years, when we can find materials who can help dry out compost systems a lot better than wood chips and all that sort of stuff that are readily available, I think we'll be on a winner. Another system that we are just about to build and really proud of to bring in Australia first up is a sand system where it's just a sand base. Sand is gold.
Just to clarify, this is not a freestall bedding.
It's not a freestall bedding. It's just an open shed where it's just got sand and it's free draining sand with a particular system below it that drains all the urine and rain and water and whatever else is there. And we have a bedding cleaner that cleans the bedding once a day, so it's minimal labour content. And we still have a feed face. We have all the same systems as a compost bed, compost facility or a free source facility. And we are really looking forward to making sure we get this one right.
Yep.
To make sure that other farmers throughout Australia can look at this system and say, yes, it's right for them or not.
Yep.
Now, on that, every system is not right for everybody. It depends on their management skills. It depends on how much dollars per square metre they want to spend. It's a whole host of things that people want to have to think about before they make a decision on what type of system is going to be best for them.
Yeah.
And again, the Dairy Australia system organiser can help you with that as well.
Beautiful. With I suppose the years of experience that you've gathered, I have no doubt you've gathered a lot of information on the do's and don'ts of barn design and within what things to do and not to do within a barn. If you were to sort of pick the top 3 or 4, things to do and the top 3 or 4 things not to do, 2 doesn't have to be 3 or 4, but are there sort of some key learnings, I suppose, you've taken away over the years to say to a farmer, make sure you do those things?
I think the first thing to think about is things that are going to make sure the facility lasts, right? So we look at corrosion. So corrosion in steel, so make sure everything's galvanised and galvanised by a reputable business to do that. If it's not galvanised, make sure it's epoxied in the correct procedure. Same with corrosion with concrete. Make sure you're using the right type of concrete and right strengths and all that sort of stuff. In regards to shed, make sure it's designed properly. There are a lot of people who are going at, and look, good luck to you if when you can get things cheaper, but internationally, some of the sheds that are coming in the country may not meet our specifications.
Yeah, okay.
May not. And we've got people who are going to sign off on that. Good luck to them if something goes wrong. Think about that. Look, there's a whole host of things I could talk about there, but it's just
Airflow?
very,
Is airflow one that you've seen good and
air,
bad?
airflow is a very, very difficult thing. It depends. Airflow will depend on a lot of things we look at. One is the width of the shed, the height that you'd like the shed at, where it's actually located on the hill, down the bottom of the hill, and all that sort of stuff. Its orientation, east, west, north, all that sort of thing. With a freestall, yes, let's go east, west. With a compost, no, we can go north, south with that. No, we're going to have arguments about that, but
Yep.
you know, it's one of those things where I think it should still do all that sort of stuff. So airflow is one of those things. Our business has got our own criteria on that.
Yep.
We set it, and again, it depends on climate, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Other little 1%ers, I suppose. So things like turning tracks for the feed wagon, access for milk tankers, location of effluent ponds, and all those sorts of things that you have to consider, I suppose. How much do they play a part in that overall design?
They certainly do, and I always use an analogy when I talk to people about when you're designing a farm facility. Now, it might be just building a new dairy, but with that comes a new track, a new effluent system, new places where things have got to pull up and all that sort of stuff. Where you're going to park the motorbike, all that sort of thing.
Yep.
It's exactly like building a new house, and you got the front door, and as soon as someone walks in who you don't know, and they can look straight into in your toilet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The design's not right. So
Yep.
you've got to make sure you don't have those bad design moments and all that sort of stuff. So it's all about getting everything down on paper, the whole lot down on paper, the whole stages. You might be doing 4 or 5 stages, have every 5 stages down there, then we can look at it and make sure we don't have that glance straight in the toilet moment.
Yep.
All right. So think about orientation. You've got to think about wind direction. Like never in the southwest of Victoria, never put your effluent ponds on the southwest of your dairy.
Okay.
Right.
Because?
Well, you're going to have odour issues all the time.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
Prevailing
So
winds.
your employees, you're sitting in the office and you're going to have an odour issue a lot of the time, right? Because it's going to be local, that odour will spread out over time, but by the time it'll get to you,
Yep.
and you'll have it all the time.
Yeah.
So on the northwest side, it just goes out in the atmosphere and it's gone.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. Think about power lines, where they are situated. There could be wetlands you've got to consider.
Yep.
There's a whole host of things.
As you said earlier, river locations and
Yep, all that.
things like that. Yep.
One other thing always consider, and I've seen some issues here over the time, is height.
Height of the shed?
Height of the building, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Well, if you've got a compost barn, right, and it might fill up 1.2 metres from zero base and fill up 1.2 metres. If your fans are sitting at 3 metres, you're not going to be able to turn the compost. Your tractor's going to hit the fans while you...
Yeah,
so
wow.
those
Yeah.
sort of issues you've got to think about, right? And you've got to think about it well before you build the building.
Yep. Yeah, wow. Those little ones that you've learned along the way, as we said earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, someone's obviously made the mistake in the past, but it's happened. Yeah.
Well, not only someone, but many people have. And
Yep.
it
Yep.
doesn't get passed on, so yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things is always get all the people together who are going to build the facility you're building, right? The milking machine people, you need to understand just simple things like what's the fall on the milk line?
Yep.
Where is it going to come from, and what height is the vat? Is the building high enough for that to happen?
Yep.
Right? If you're looking at barns, sometimes we're looking at a long way for the milk to travel, and at 1%, if it's at 1%, it could be 300 or 400 mil drop, 500 mil drop, and it might find that it's below the VAT level,
Yeah, it's not going to fill it
right,
up properly.
or below the other facility levels and all that sort of. So you just got to make sure you get things right.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's total design by everyone having an input.
Yep. And I'll ask the next question, and I know it could be a question that maybe is a bit careful to step around, but I'll ask it anyway, and you can fend it off if you like. Obviously, we've seen a lot of change with the EPA recently, and we've seen a lot of increase in EPA activity and a lot more investigation questions being asked. What are some of the things they're looking for? What are some of the key items to be aware of that we see changing in the industry today that maybe wasn't there 10 years ago?
Number one, I would ask every farmer, would they drink the water down below their dairy in the river? All right.
Yep.
Number one. If they're not willing to say yes to that, I know there might be dairy farmers or some other farmers up above it polluting as well, but if they're not happy with their own water right where they are, there's something
Yeah.
drastically wrong. EPA, they're not going to disappear, and
No.
they're an organisation. They're there for, in my mind, the right reasons. Sometimes they are over the top. But we just got to make sure we do things right.
Yep.
Some of their rules and regulations I disagree with, absolutely. But we just got to work around it and make sure we do things as correctly as can for the environment, for the sustainability of not only our own industry, but of everyone around us and the world.
Yeah.
We've got to do that.
Yep. And it's going to continue to develop in that way as well.
And if you ever have any concerns with EPA, call them. Just say, look, I've got an issue. I just want to make sure I'm okay with this.
Better to be up front at the start.
Up front. Yep.
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 And same with local government. Go and say, look, I've got this issue, or I've got this, I want to do this. How do I go about it? Is there any issues I've got in place? What have I got to do? Yep.
That seems logical.
Yep.
I won't take up too much more time, but just a typical project. Just to take us through, what are the stages, I suppose, of a project of this size? What are some of the sort of time frames? If someone wants to build, let's call it a 1,000-cow barn. What are some of the time frames and those I suppose stages along the way that it's not going to be done in 3 months. So it's prepare for a 12-month project. It's an 18-month project or process, I should say, not necessarily a project, but the process.
Yeah. For a start, Daniel, every project's going to be different. You cannot slam every project in a little box and say it's all going to be the same. There's so many variables there that it's not funny. First of all, know what you want to do. Get your plans organised, all your stages together. Make sure you know what you're doing. Then you can decide which stage you're going to do now. Make sure you've got council on board. They understand what's going on. There might be a very lengthy process in planning and maybe also in building as well. But planning is normally the one that takes a long time.
Yep.
Right. So go through that process with council, which will also involve the water authorities, electrical authorities, EPA, and any other statutory authority that may be involved in that area. Heritage is another one there. So once you've got all those things together, then get your planning organised. Then you may be able to start building, get the thing built, and then you're off and running. Some of that could be up to 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow!
Right? I still have projects that are 4 or 5 years old, but they haven't done the full planning yet. You've got to be ready. Hit planning. Sometimes planning could take 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
Right, depending on what you want to do. I have, and I've been very fortunate. Some planning only takes 3 or 4 months.
Yep.
Right. Hopefully you have no objections, and a little pointer there would be, make sure you talk to your neighbours about what you would want to do. Make sure your neighbours understand and agree with you, right?
Yeah.
Right. If they don't agree, ask them why not, and try and resolve the issue well before council know about it.
Yep. Yeah.
You can do those short little steps there. It will save you months and months and months.
What about something like a farmer's digging a new dam and he wants to capture that dirt to use for a pad? and they go, well, that could be stage one. I'm going to go and prepare a base. How long might that base, if they're going to say do that and save that clay? I know it's
Yep, yep. Couple of things there. Number one, if it's a part of the building development, they most probably should not. And look, I'm not a legal entity on all this sort of stuff,
no, of course, yeah,
but you should not go and dig a dam for any reason. Some councils ask a permit for every dam,
yep,
right? Some councils don't. And if it's for if it's just for effluent, you might be okay. I don't know. Go and ask your council, get permission first. But if it's earthworks for a construction site, you may have to wait until the building permit's done for that earthworks, right? And then, so that could be another 2 months added on to it if that's the
tread
case.
carefully. Yeah, fantastic.
No matter what, go and talk to your council, talk to everybody who may be a disruptor to you. Make sure you have them on your side.
Yep. No, definitely. Right, I don't have a lot more questions to sort of run through with you. Anything else you want to add into, I suppose, into the conversation? I might ask you one more question that just jumped to mind. What about the retrofit of an existing? So someone says, I've already got an existing shed and I want to turn that into my new barn. Is that something that can be done, is easily done?
Look, it certainly can be done. And what the owner and the builder have got to discuss is sometimes that extent of that renovation could be more substantial than what the new build could be. You've also got to think about the material that's there now and its life. If it's already been there for 40 years, is it going to last another 10 years or 20 years or 30 years?
Yeah.
So you've got to put that perspective into place and make decisions based on that. We've certainly done a lot of refits in existing buildings, but they've been, they've been structurally sound and all that sort of stuff to make sure they're okay to do that. If there's fault lines or issues with the building at all, think seriously about adding a lot more money, sorry about that, a lot more money back into that when it could fall over in 10 years' time on you.
Yeah. Sometimes the money you think you're saving is actually going to cost you a lot more down the track.
Mind you, the existing facility you can use for other things. You may be able to use it as a maintenance area for your cows.
Yep.
Throw a crush in there. You've already got a feed system. You've already got a handrail. Fill the pit in.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff. You've got a ready-made maintenance system for you and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Again, whoever's building your facility should be able to recognise those sort of advantages for you and do that.
Yep.
I'm a strong proponent to go new for anything we're going to put new on.
Yep.
If I was going to put a new rotary somewhere, I'd go for a new shed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I was going to put new robots somewhere, I'd go for a new facility where we've done that sort of work.
Yeah.
Right? You might use the existing shed for walking into the robots or walking out, but certainly beside and not on the existing concrete.
Yeah. Yeah, because the inquiries do come through relatively regularly for someone who has a loafing barn and says, can I put the robots to the side, in the middle? Can I concrete a section? And the conversations are, anything can be done, but is it the most economical?
Got to think about, in that one, how old is the facility? Can we get drainage properly without having pumps? Or do we have to have pumps? How much space we're going to lose in doing it? Would it be better off just come to the side and put something in? It's a big question to ask, and there could be many, many answers for it. So,
Definitely. Fantastic. Well, thank you. Anything else you wanted to add on top that I haven't asked you? Anything Daniel, you should have asked me this question.
If someone said to me, how's the dairy industry going? I'd say everyone who's in the industry is in a great space at this point in time. We've got this fantastic movement in the robotic area. We've got this fantastic movement in the rotary area, and we also still got a lot of dairy farmers building really, really good conventional dairies and rapid release dairies and all that sort of stuff. So the whole market's good. It really is in all those areas. And I really see the next 4 or 5 years being really good for the dairy farmers who need to expand, to go down one of those lines. And once they make the decision which way they go, there's good market opportunities in any of those ways, whoever they decide to go with. Number one, get your hard stuff right first.
Yep.
Then your stuff that milks the cows right second, and go from there. And hopefully everyone has a great 25, 30, 40 years in their new facility.
Yeah, and a good outcome. And if someone wants to reach out to you directly or your team directly, is that something that pick up the phone and call you at any time?
Yeah, call me anytime, call my office anytime, call my people anytime. We've got a website, www.greencon.com.au. I've been told it's a pretty good site. I must have a look at it again. And
You sure it's still there?
Jump on. Yeah, it was there the other day apparently. Someone said it's a great site. Yeah, so yeah. And look, thank you to Laley. Laley and GreenCon had around about a 17-year relationship, I think.
Yep.
And it's been pretty good. And I think we put in about 30 odd units, and certainly had a lot of other work with other units that have gone in.
Yep.
So yeah, we're pretty proud of that history there, and we certainly look forward to more of that good work that Laley does.
No, and look, and the same back. I think we're always comfortable to refer, especially obviously in our space, the AMS customer is who should I call? It's always the first port of call is to go to GreenCon. We get that question. I can manage this part myself. Okay, you can, but are you ready for what comes with that? And people might say, "Oh, but I pay a little bit more." But what do you get? Don't think of cost, think of value. Yeah, there is a genuine value in having that one-stop shop and that peace of mind that it's going to be done properly. And look, I mean, the feedback from our customers, is that there's a number of them out there, is always the experience has been very positive. So we're more than happy to keep working with GreenCon, and look, the AMS industry is looking positive. And you've got the experience to keep building them. So let's make it another 17 years. Is there another coming along?
I shouldn't say this, but there's two more boys coming along pretty soon. They'll be joining the workforce in a couple of years.
Nice.
Because I only got another 6 years left in me. So I turned 70. When I turned 70, I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
I made that decision. But you never know; they might drag me out. See how we go.
Retirement in state only. You'll still be there in the background.
No. Dairy's been my life, and it's been great. It really has. I've met so many people over the years, and a lot of those people I still stay with, and have a couple of reds or a couple of beers with every now and again, and talk about the old times. But it's one of those things where, I really, really enjoy getting out in the countryside and being with dairy farmers who, like every other type of farmer, they're true blue people to Australia and to the world, really. And love it. I really do love it. It's fantastic.
Very good. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to a successful future.
Put that in the box, Jack.